Thank you, David. A very important issue for my viewers in Telemundo 47. We're going to talk about immigration, okay? So as we know, President Trump wants to abolish sanctuary cities like New York, and his administration has applied pressure to force cooperation on deportation. So to understand a little bit more this issue, we're going to give you couple of scenarios, hypothetical scenarios. You're going to have a minute to answer this one. Mr. Cuomo, we are going to begin with you. Let's say ICE notifies your city-run hospitals that they must stop offering medical care to undocumented patients, or the federal government is going to withhold millions of dollars in funding. What do you do?
I've gone through this with Mr. Trump before with ICE.
But what would you do now?
You cannot give in to Mr. Trump and his demands. You cannot.
But let's say he's cutting funding.
You can't. It will never end. If you give in to him, he is a bully. I know him well. If you give in to him today, you will be giving him your lunch money for the rest of your life.
So what's the solution?
You have to fight him. And the way you fight him is not by suing him. Yes, of course you sue him, but he gets sued 10 times before he gets out of bed in the morning, right?
Kind of like you.
That doesn't
and
bother
the lawsuits
him,
are winning,
right?
by the way.
We need a national coalition, which we can put together, of like-minded states and cities that will oppose these actions. And then we're going to have to eventually beat him politically in the Congress, but you cannot give in to his demands.
Thank you, Mr. Cuomo. Mr. Chilson?
Yeah, I mean, Donald Trump throws 50 tweets a day up there, and most of the time you just ignore him. If he actually does act illegally to try and blackmail us, you have to sue to restore that funding. I am appalled by what Trump is doing to terrorize immigrant communities and demonize immigrants in general. And that's an area I will fight him tooth and nail.
Mr. Mandani?
Our city is under attack by an authoritarian Trump administration. And it is under attack that is now being echoed by Trump's allies right here in New York City. And I say that as someone who would be the first immigrant mayor of the city in generations, someone who just yesterday had a sitting elected official call for me to be deported. This is not an intellectual exercise for the people of New York City. We deserve to have a mayor who is not funded by the same billionaires that put Donald Trump in D.C. We deserve to have a mayor who will actually fight back. And the way that we fight back is ensure that our local institutions continue to provide the services to each and every New Yorker.
But the question is, how can you protect those people? Going to hospitals, how can you protect them?
Here's the thing. The Donald Trump administration will use the fact that they fund 7% of our city budget as leverage over us to try and give up whichever category of New Yorkers they are pursuing in that day. Ultimately, what we need to do is tell those same institutions we will provide them that funding, and we'll get that funding by taxing the 1% and the wealthiest corporations right here in New York State.
Thank you so much. Mr. Blake, I'm going to remind you the question is, ICE notifies the hospitals that they're not going to offer care to immigrants. How can you solve this situation?
As a son of Jamaican immigrants, where I was born with a heart murmur in North Central Bronx Hospital, and my mom that's watching right now, and my wife who's Jamaican and Honduran, this is important for us to expand the conversation of what's happening. To your question, we create the protections by designating hospitals, schools, community centers, places of worship as safe havens where ICE is not permitted to enter unless there's a signed judicial warrant. Moreover, we have to expand the conversation. We've made very clear we will remain a sanctuary city to make sure that we are protected, full stop. But it also is important about how do we have the rhetoric, that we will not tolerate rhetoric against our immigrant communities. The same way we will not tolerate anti-Semitic behavior. We will not tolerate Islamophobia. We will not tolerate anti-Blackness and anti-Latino rhetoric. And that means at the same time, we have to protect our nonprofits that are helping our immigrants as well, which is why I said you must grant as well as reimburse nonprofits earlier that are helping our immigrants, in particular our undocumented ones right now.
Thank you, Mr. Blake. Mr. Stringer.
Look, we first have to make it clear that the buck does not stop with Donald Trump. And that's why the very rainy day fund I proposed would immediately allow us to build back the health services that the federal government could take from us financially. This is why we need a mayor who knows the buck, because that's the job of mayor, understanding how we actually get through the Trump era. But it doesn't stop there. Look, my experience has always been about fighting in Trump 1. And we won a lot of those battles. We won those battles during COVID. We never backed down, but we were strategic. And that's why we need to work with our Washington partners. You know, there are Democrats in Washington ready for the fight with a mayor who brings a confidence and a proven ability to deal with the economics of this crisis. But this is not a time for training wheels. This is not a time for somebody who has never dealt with the finances of the city to be mayor of New York.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stringer. Now, Ms. Adams, we're going to go to you next. We're going to change a little bit the situation. Let's say that you learn that ICE is planning to stop immigrants outside your hospitals for possible roundups. Would you warn them? And how would you handle this situation? You have a minute.
You know, it's work that I'm already doing as Speaker of the City Council. So I've already stepped up in leadership to do this. I've had a target on me because I refuse to erode our sanctuary city laws, and I have refused to do this. My mission is and will be when I am mayor is to protect the immigrants of the city of New York. New York is a city made up of immigrants. So it is our responsibility to make sure that all New Yorkers, our old New Yorkers and our newer New Yorkers, feel safe in this city. As mayor, I will not kowtow to Donald Trump.
But would you warn them that they're...
I will absolutely use my bully pulpit as the mayor to warn, as I am doing as City Council Speaker pretty much on a daily basis. The work that I am currently doing as Speaker, I will expand as the mayor of the city of New York. Donald Trump will know that New York will remain a sanctuary city regardless of his threats and his chaos. We will stand because we are a city and a nation, and we will be that model once again for other cities in this country to take a look at and to work towards becoming like New York.
Thank you. Mr. Lander.
Thank you, Rosarina. I mean, as you well know, 40% of the 8 million New Yorkers are foreign-born. 50% live in mixed-status households, including 1 million children. This is the future of New York City that we're talking about, which is why I was proud to be a co-sponsor of those sanctuary city laws. 3 specific things I would do here. 1, it's not just the mayor. Every New York City employee needs to understand the sanctuary city laws. So I've got a detailed plan to make sure our school social workers and receptionists, our shelter security guards know the sanctuary city laws. So we'll have a network to get this information out and absolutely warn people before they walk into ICE. I've proposed creating an independent health authority to segment off city money from Medicaid money. And I want to expand NYC care. So it's not just in health and hospitals, but in our federally qualified health centers as well. That'll make sure our immigrants are protected.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ramos.
Rosarina, Trump mintió. Trump anda detrás de todos los inmigrantes. Pensamos que solamente iban a ser los supuestos criminales y hemos visto que eso no es verdad. We have to keep ICE out of our hospitals, out of our schools, out of our houses of worship, out of any public institution, and really limit cooperation of ICE with the NYPD only when it comes to the 90-plus charges under the current sanctuary city law. Those are very serious charges. I want to make sure that in a town with so many lawyers, our immigrants have lawyers and our immigrants do what they came here to do, work. It is our it'll be my responsibility as mayor of the city of New York to create entry points into the economy so that they can stay busy, provide for themselves and for their families, and honor the fabric of this city and of this country, which cannot function, whose future won't be brighter without our immigrants.
And that sounds like that sounds like a great plan, but would you be using taxpayers' money for that?
Yes, this is actually making sure we are expanding Action NYC and our cooperation with our community-based organizations, clinics with our 7 law schools to make sure that we are on the ground protecting and teaching people their rights.
Mr. Murray.
This isn't just a hypothetical for me. I grew up with pretty severe asthma, and both of my parents would take me to a city hospital, Kings County Hospital, when I had an asthma attack. They weren't documented then, but they knew that the city had their back. So not only would I be warning, I would be assuring them that we had their back right now. Sanctuary city laws used to not be political. Well-known progressive Rudy Giuliani stood up for our sanctuary city laws because he understood what this community meant to our city. I plan on doing the same. This isn't a time for us to give half measures to say, well, maybe under this circumstance and maybe under that circumstance. We have to stand up. They are snatching people out of our schools. They're snatching people out of our courthouses. We cannot stand for that in this moment. I have a frontline agenda. I want to hire 50 more lawyers to the law department. I want to go on the offensive. I want to utilize the 10th Amendment to ensure that we are not carrying out the federal government's immigration policies. We have to stand up in this moment. That's what I'll be as the next.
Thank you, Mr. Myrie.